everyone, my name is Vidya Rasthana and welcome to my YouTube channel Class 10 Cbse with Vidya. Today we are going to start with our topic chemical reaction and equations. This is going to be an introduction chapter where we are going to recapitulate what we have learned in our previous classes and the main concepts in this chapter. Let's start. First, as the name suggests, chemical reactions. What are chemical reactions? Before we talk about what are chemical reactions, first let us know what is chemical change. Chemical change. We all have learned in our previous classes that a change that is irreversible. That is irreversible. Now, what do you mean by irreversible? Means it can't be changed. For example, if you burn a paper, then what do you get? You get ash. So that's a chemical change because now from that ash you can't make paper again, right? And here always a new substance is formed. New substance is formed. So these are the key points. You can tell some examples as well, like burning of paper, oxidation of food, the exploitation of your food. For example, let's suppose your food, you forgot to keep it in your freezer, and now as you forgot to keep it in your freezer, the food has rancid, like it smells bad, it tastes bad. So what is happening here? There is a chemical change. यहाँ पे कुछ chemical change हुआ, and because of that now your food has some new product हो गया है. You can say something has grown up in it, कुछ बन गया है that is different from the thing it was. Or burning of paper, burning of a cloth, right? But now if I say you have teared a paper, इसका अगर मैं opposite बात करूँ तो that is physical change. इसका opposite क्या था? Physical change. Physical change. This is something you have already learned in your previous classes and this is nothing new, right? So इसमें अगर आप पेपर को फाड़ दोगे, then is there a new substance formed? No, there is no new substance is formed. सिर्फ वो पेपर तो पेपर ही रहा, even if you have burned it. But chemical change में there must a new substance form. There must a new substance form. अब बात करते हैं इस पॉइंट की, irreversible. Sometimes few of your chemical reaction might not be irreversible. Like कुछ chemical changes हो सकते हैं जो कि आप reverse कर सको, ठीक है? But then you can't say कि अगर मैं इसको reverse कर सकता हूँ, then it's not a chemical change. Chemical change basically says that there is a new substance is formed. There must a new substance be formed. Okay? And ये मैंने irreversible वाली बात क्यों कही? It was because chemistry is full of one thing that is known as exceptions. There is nothing जिसमें exceptions ना हो. हर चीज में in this chemistry there is an exception. We can't say कि ऐसा होगा ही होगा. Okay, there is nothing very constant. Now let's talk about chemical reaction. So what does chemical reaction tells us? Chemical change कहीं एक तरह से आप बोल सकते हैं, that is what chemical reaction is. Let's first write it. Let's clean the board and write about it more clearly. Chemical reaction. Chemical reaction is a process in which substance undergoes a chemical change to produce a new substance or product. This is the definition. You must learn it because it can come as a one marker to define chemical reaction. Okay, and now let's understand what this definition actually tries to tell us. Process. This is a process in which substances undergoes a chemical change. We know chemical change. What is it? A Permanent, you can say a permanent change or a change in which a new substance is formed. तो यहाँ से यहाँ तक की बात तो सेम है. And इसमें बस हमने एक लाइन ऐड किया, that is process in which substance undergoes a chemical change. Substance, it can be any substance, some metal, your water, any substance that undergoes a chemical change to produce a new substance. Let us understand this with an example. Now, as we are in class 10, we can't keep on, taking the same examples of junior classes. Now, we have to learn how to take a 10th class level examples. So, let's say Mg, the most, used one. Mg plus O2 gives MgO. Now, as you have just started the chapter, let me tell you what we have written. Mg means magnesium. Oh, sorry. Okay. Mg means magnesium. And O2 is oxygen. So this is a chemical reaction, okay? इतना जो है, this is a chemical reaction. In this, a substance, okay, in which a substance undergoes. This substance is getting chemical change. ये chemical change हो रहा है to form a new substance. Now here we are forming a new substance. And this is इतना, not the equation, not the answer. सिर्फ इतना जो है, that is your chemical reaction. Okay? So magnesium reacts. Magnesium and oxygen undergoes a chemical change to form a new substance, and our new substance is MgO, that is known as magnesium oxide. Okay? Now, one more thing. This new substance have new properties. Here, see, your new substance, like here the MgO. Your new substance doesn't have the same properties of this and this. MgO में जरूरी नहीं है that we are going to have the properties of magnesium the same as it is properties of magnesium, as it is properties of oxygen. New substance means new properties. Okay, I hope this is clear. New substance means new properties. Now this MgO, that is magnesium oxide, will have new properties. And one more thing, जब भी you are writing a chemical equation, you need to balance them. How? जैसे हाँ, OK, 2 atoms है. So here we need to have 2 atoms of oxygen. So now, but you have 2K, 2 magnesium are also there. So 2. So this is how your equation looks like, and in examinations you must have to write it in balanced equation. We are going to more talk about this topic, but first let us now talk about chemical equation. Chemical equation is what? It's just an equation which represents the chemical formulas, the chemical reaction in a symbolically way with the new product formed. ठीक है? So now this was a chemical reaction, and this whole thing, magnesium plus oxygen, that gives us magnesium oxide. This whole thing is our chemical equation. I hope this is clear. Now let us talk about our next topic, that is skeletal equation. Now, as you can see, I have written the definition of chemical equation. It represents reactant, product and physical state symbolically. Like we took the example of magnesium oxide. So in which I didn't wrote magnesium plus oxygen. I didn't wrote the full name, right? I used their symbols. In the same way, chemical equation says that we represents reactant, product and physical state symbolically. Now if I take an example of this, So let me take an example. H2, that is your hydrogen. I am not writing hydrogen here, but rather I am writing it in a symbolically way, that is H2 plus O2. H2 plus O2. O2 is oxygen, gives us H2O. Right? Hydrogen plus oxygen gives water. I am not writing. I am writing it a symbolically way. Right? The reactants are symbolically, the product is written symbolically, and the physical state. Physical state is like, is this present in gaseous? You know that there are three physical states that can be solid, liquid, gas. Right? So you have to just mention that which physical state is in. For example, our hydrogen is in gas, oxygen is also in gas, but this is in liquid. So now this is what? It is a chemical equation now, because it has written the reactant, the product is written in symbolically, and also I have mentioned their physical state. Now comes the topic skeletal equation. What is skeletal equation? The skeletal equation is nothing but simply the chemical formula of products and reactants. Simply the chemical formula of products and reactants, nothing else. For example, पहले chemical equation देखो. Chemical equation समझ आ गया? Physical state है. The symbolically atoms are written here. And one more thing is here is, we always balance the chemical equation. Chemical equations are always balanced. For example, hydrogen 2 है यहाँ, hydrogen 2 है यहाँ. Oxygen is 2 here, but it is only 1 here. So what I have to do? I have to make 2 here also. So I will write 2 here. So now 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen. But now hydrogen 2 into 2 is equals to 4. Means here I am getting 4 hydrogen atoms. But here it's only 2. So I will write 2 here. So now this is what? This is your chemical equation. But skeletal equation is like, if I just remove the chemical balancing, I will remove the physical states as well. And this is like this. Now this is what? This is a skeletal equation, in which I have only written product and reactant ka chemical formula. Like H2O2 gives H2O. I am not writing anything. No physical state, no atom balancing, nothing. So this is what? Skeletal equation. This comes in your exam to define what is a skeletal equation with the example. So you can just simply write that skeletal equation is simply the chemical formula of product and reactant. One more line which you can write it. You can write it. It's optional, but I will suggest that if you are writing, so just write it can be both. It can be both balanced and, tell me, balanced. Balance क्या होता है? Like chemical equation is balanced. Here it is not balanced. It's unbalanced. As we have learnt in our previous classes also, balance means equal number of atom, equal. Reactant side and product side should be equal. Atom number, the mass should be equal. So now your skeletal equation can be both balanced and unbalanced. Let me tell you how. This is a skeletal equation. Just tell me yes or no. Yes, it is, because इसमें physical state नहीं है. It is just a chemical formula of products and reactants. No physical state, no chemical balancing we have done. It's just as it is. Now, so this one is unbalanced one. Now let me give you an example of balanced one. Let's say here C. C means carbon plus O2, that is oxygen, gives CO2. So this is now balanced. but physical state तो इसमें नहीं है. This is balanced. One carbon, two oxygen, two oxygen. But this is balanced. This is a chemical formula of products and reactants, but no physical state is there written. Thus, this is a skeletal equation which is balanced already. That's why in exertion and reasoning, you can be given question like, is skeletal equations always balanced? It can be like true or false. Skeletal equations are always unbalanced, right? So you have to just remember in your mind that skeletal equation can be both balanced and unbalanced. Okay, I hope you got it. I want you to keep writing the definitions as well, because definition is really very important. It helps you to understand the topic more. Now, we learnt in our previous classes that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. In class 9, we learned a law, that is law of conservation of mass. Law of conservation of mass states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Right? It can only be conserved. Okay. For example, if I say 2 kg plus 2 kg, so it will be 4 kg only, right? It cannot be created. अचानक से यहाँ 6 नहीं आ सकता, nor it can be destroyed. Mass is something that neither be created nor be destroyed. Sorry. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. So why do we need to balance our chemical equation? This question is very rarely, not very rarely, like many times you can say that it can be asked that why do we need to do chemical balancing? Why we need to balance our chemical equation? This is a question in your NCERT textbook as well. So the answer will be to fulfill. So you will write from here, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Therefore, this is a way to write. Therefore, which you can use in maths and science, obviously not in English. Therefore, to fulfill this law, we need to do chemical equation balancing. Or you can just write, we need to balance our chemical equation. Let me just write it down that only. It sounds odd, right? So let me just write it. Therefore, we need to balance chemical equation. I hope this is clear. We learned 2 laws in the class 9. In atoms chapter, we learned 2 laws. First was the law of conservation of mass, that states that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed, and therefore we have to do balanced chemical equation, because this was the law we need to fulfill. Right? So now let's take one example of this. Let us see. Water example we have taken. Let's take it again. H2 plus O2. Now you will ask me why we have written H2, why we have written O2. So this answer I am going to tell you in the coming video. But first let us understand this, that why we need to balance our chemical equation. So H2 plus O2 gives H2O. So now you can see that it is unbalanced here. Here it is 2 hydrogen, here also it is 2 hydrogen. But here it is 2 oxygen, but on the product side it is only 1 oxygen. Therefore, we need to balance it to fulfill law of conservation of mass. So I will write here 2. So now 2H2 plus O2 gives 2H2O. Now it is balanced. Therefore, You just need to remember why we have to do law of conservation of, why do we need to balance our chemical equation? To fulfill law of conservation of mass. Because mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. With this topic, we are going to end our today's video of introduction of chemical reactions and equations. We have covered all the topics that we have learned in the previous classes, and we are going to learn about them. I hope you liked my video. If you like my video, so don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel Cbse Class 10 with Reeti. And for more videos, kindly ring the bell hang button so you will get all the notifications of my channel, and don't forget to share it with your friends. Till then, have a good day ahead and keep learning.